The British crown has never been a static relic. It is a living entity constantly evolving. At Kensington, we are witnessing the clear signals of an epoch-making shift. Prince William, alongside Princess Charlotte, is penning the opening lines of a bold new chapter 1 that is both more youthful and more decisive. Is King Charles's silence a voluntary step back, or is it a calculated part of a strategic royal rescue mission? Before we dive deep into the analysis, share your perspective. Comment 1 for the reformers or 0 for the traditionalists. Join me as we decode this monumental shift in the great balance of power. That day at Kensington Palace, an seemingly ordinary event held unmistakable implications. In keeping with British royal tradition, important announcements are usually delivered cautiously and through multiple layers of vetting. However, when Prince William stepped onto the platform, he not only displayed the role of an heir, but also the demeanor of a leader. This was more than just the appearance of a member of the royal family. It was a statement of power and preparation for the future. Alongside him, Princess Catherine and Prince George form a strong bond symbolizing not only the stability of the new royal brand, but also a strategically significant image in the ever-changing world. However, the element of surprise lies in the appearance of Princess Charlotte. When Prince William announced Charlotte's role as representative, it wasn't simply a matter of entrusting responsibility to a child. It could be a strategic move by a leader affirming preparation for future generations. The hypothesis is, could this be a strategic move to elevate the roles and status of members of the royal family? Systematic analysis might suggest an acceleration in the building of power with each individual in the family, assuming more significant responsibilities and roles than ever before. But the real question is, will this shift lead to a smooth transfer of power, or is it merely a harbinger of far-reaching changes in the future of the British monarchy? With the third generation rapidly rising to the center, it becomes clear that this is not merely a shift in the royal family's narrative, but a deeper strategy to ensure continuity and stability during a turbulent period. This arguably signals a system in urgent need of renewal and rejuvenation. The question is, why has this urgency become necessary? Public opinion is raising questions about this. Could the functioning of King Charles's reign be facing challenges unknown to the public? Many theories suggest that the monarchy's central processor may be facing problems that have not been officially disclosed. The silence of King Charles III and Queen Camilla throughout this process was not a coincidence. On the contrary, it was a crucial factor that cannot be overlooked. In the world of politics and diplomacy, silence sometimes carries far more weight than words. These silent actions may be a strategy to project subtle power or to avoid comments that could alarm the public. Behavioral analysts suggest that a soft transition is underway, a quiet but impactful process that is gradually changing the face of the royal family. Looking at approval ratings, it's clear that William and Catherine are rising strongly, not only domestically but globally. But what is happening inside the palace? Unverified reports suggest that King Charles's system is showing signs of overload. Postponing visits, canceling schedules, and withdrawing from energy-intensive events are not mere coincidences. Are these warning signs of impending change or simply temporary difficulties? The truth may be more complex than it appears on the surface. It could be argued that as Prince William continues to appear more prominently and forcefully in public events, this cannot simply be seen as a surpassing of his father King Charles. In fact, these actions may be part of a subtle rescue process aimed at filling the power vacuum left by King Charles, despite being the head of state. A noteworthy hypothesis has been put forward. The dynasty is no longer operating on a linear model, but is gradually shifting to a parallel one in which King Charles holds the symbolic constitutional role on one side, and the Welsh family, particularly William and Catherine, wield real power in shaping the future and managing public diplomacy on the other. William's decision to visit the Manchester Children's Hospital instead of attending the King's meeting should not be interpreted as rebellion or a challenge to authority. It may be a strategy of resource optimization, where each member of the royal family takes on the most important fronts depending on their influence and capabilities. These decisions can help allocate resources more effectively, given the enormous workload and responsibilities the royal family faces. However, as with any systemic change, there is always friction. Princess Charlotte's placement in such a significant position so early may be a bold move, but it also carries risks. Is this a necessary step to consolidate the power of the Welsh family, or will it create fragmentation and conflict within the royal family's operations? This question remains open, and we will have to wait and see whether this strategy will strengthen the royal family in the future or create unforeseen challenges. Whispers about the events of the previous decade still echoed, making her legitimacy a major question mark. However, history always takes unexpected turns. Could someone who was once at the center of public opinion become the most reliable anchor for the dynasty in times of crisis? If you observe closely, you'll notice a subtle shift. The most powerful figure seems to appear less frequently in front of the cameras. Instead, there are brief announcements about the treatment process. When the lighthouse no longer shines as brightly as before, who is truly steering the ship of the kingdom? In the documentary Behind Closed Doors, the Queen mentioned the cycle of trauma. But observers are paying attention to the detail at the Isle of Man. She chose to confront the issue directly rather than avoid it when discussing the king's health. Could this be a psychological stepping stone to allow the public to gradually become accustomed to the Queen's dominant presence in major decisions? Or was it simply a humane outburst from a life partner after days of bearing the burden of pressure? The contrast between the king's outwardly optimistic demeanor and his restricted activities creates a logical loophole. Are we witnessing the truth or only what is allowed to be seen? Prince William and Princess Catherine's symbols of steadfastness, they serve as pillars of steel upholding public trust. Prince Harry. A message from afar, bridging geographical distances with genuine understanding. Princess Anne, the younger sister who is believed to be bearing the heaviest burden of grief over her brother's misfortunes. But just when the world believed the royal family had established a solid defense line, a new crack appeared right at the epicenter. In November 2024, an unprecedented event occurred: a mass absence. Queen Camilla unexpectedly canceled important ceremonies at Westminster Abbey. The official announcement stated a lung infection and the need for rest as advised by her doctor. However, with the king also facing a rigorous treatment regimen, this absence inevitably raised sharp questions from the public. Is this merely a medical coincidence, or a sign of a system being overwhelmed by immense pressure? The fact that the Duchess of Gloucester had to replace her at important diplomatic events sparked a wave of conspiracy theories. Was the true state of the royal court being concealed to avoid a widespread crisis of confidence? With both of the palace's highest symbols facing physical challenges simultaneously, The future of the monarchy presented an unprecedented governance dilemma. The velvet curtains of Buckingham Palace remain drawn, yet the scripts of the future continue to be written by the world's curiosity. Are we witnessing a monarchy striving for transformation, or are we seeing the most fragile moments of a thousand-year institution? Are we truly observing the breaking point of this millennium-old establishment? If you feel yes and believe a major shift or an underlying upheaval is being prepared, please leave a number 2 in the comments. If no and you believe this is simply a brief rest as announced, leave a number 5. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe right now so you don't miss our upcoming deep dive analyses. In the world of symbols, presence is power. But what happens when two of a nation's most revered symbols simultaneously face a health crisis? Observers are speculating about a worrying scenario, a kingdom without a direct leader. Queen Camilla's absence following the king's announcement has created a terrifying power vacuum. Remember the dark shadow that fell over the Princess of Wales, Catherine, earlier this year. Although she declared victory in her silent battle in September, its aftermath remains a grim reminder of the monarchy's fragility in the face of the trials of nature. Is Buckingham experiencing a bigger health crisis than what's being reported in the press? To understand Camilla's position, one must turn back the pages of her controversial history. Her journey was not a bed of roses, but a triumph over the ghosts of the past. However, history always takes a different turn. Can someone who was once at the center of public opinion become the most reliable anchor in times of trouble? History is the most honest mirror. In the 1950s, King George VI kept his health a closely guarded secret to protect the nation's image, leading to shock when the funeral bells rang. In contrast, Princess Margaret chose to publicly acknowledge her decline, bridging the gap with the common people. Buckingham Palace is currently torn between these two strategies: security for stability or transparency for empathy. In November 2024, an unprecedented event occurred, a mass absence, when both the king and queen had to temporarily leave the stage due to health reasons. An astonishing power pause occurred. Camilla's dedication to organizations such as Macmillan, it's not just a ceremonial role, but an inner empathy. But when the torchbearer also faces the cold winds of exhaustion, who will be there to give her strength? Perhaps these rifts are the strongest glue binding the royal family and the people together. We stand before a new chapter in British royal history, where the lines between privacy and official duty are blurred more than ever. Apologies for absences, optimistic announcements of recovery, and even veiled silences, all are creating a multifaceted picture. Where does the truth lie behind the closed doors of the palace? Is it a dynasty resiliently healing itself, or the beginning of an inevitable power transition, the tip of which we have only just begun to see? Our investigation goes beyond dry medical reports, delving into an unprecedented psychological shift. Queen Camilla, once a figure at the center of controversy, is becoming a symbol of empathy. Why did she choose to confront serious illnesses like cancer and osteoporosis with such determination? This is explored in the organization's coffee chat sessions. Macmillan, or those quiet visits to the laboratories, were not just a ritual. It was her way of humanizing the crown. As she confronted her own lung infection, the public no longer saw a distant monarch, but a human being battling the limits of her physical being. Could it be that these rifts in health are the strongest glue binding the royal family and ordinary people together? One notable hypothesis is being discussed by international observers. Is healthcare transparency a new diplomatic tactic? Beyond the borders of England, major powers are looking to Buckingham as a model of adaptation. The public disclosure of the hidden aspects of royal health is not merely an act of honesty, but a far-reaching policy reform. Under the King's approval, a new wave of health awareness is spreading, promising a comprehensive transformation of the national healthcare system. But consider the perseverance of the leading couple. King Charles III, a guardian of the environment and sustainability, has dedicated his life to preparing for a greener era. And now, as he and the Queen face personal challenges, they are writing a chapter of unwavering determination together. Their legacy is not just about laws, but about the ability to modernize an ancient institution in its most fragile moments. We have explored the hidden corners of the palace, from the secrets of the past to the transparency of the present. Queen Camilla and King Charles III stand before a stage larger than ever before, where every step, every breath, and every announcement is scrutinized under the microscope of history. Light is gradually returning behind the stone walls of Buckingham, but the questions remain. Is this transparency a voluntary choice or a necessity of the times? After the storms of health issues, in what direction will a more human monarchy lead the world? The truth may have layers we have yet to uncover, and time will be the fairest judge. Ultimately, the crown may be cast in gold, but it shines only through the support of millions of hearts. We are witnessing the greatest transfer of power in modern history, not by sword, but by an understanding of the times. Keep your eyes on Kensington, for the newest chapters of history have only just begun to be written. Who holds the real power? The new generation with its reformist mindset, or the older generation with its extensive experience? Share your verdict in the comments below. If you find this analysis insightful, please click like, share, and subscribe to the channel. That's the best way to support us in continuing to unravel the mysteries behind the velvet curtain. Thank you, and see you in the next episode. Sapi Saturday.